Hello, Kachi student. This is your virtual teacher, Teacher Yui over here. Today we're gonna be making this lovely sunflower. It's a continuation from the simple sunflower. We're gonna be adding the stem, the leaf, the texture, and the beautiful vase. Alright, so without further ado, let's start. So first thing first, I'm gonna just hide the reference because we don't really need it with H. And then now, first thing first, we're gonna continue the 3D modeling of the stem and the vase and the leaf. So really simple. For the stem, because we want to save time, so Shift A. Let's go to curve, go up, up, up. We're gonna be using the Bezier. You will see something like this. So it's huge because our object is actually pretty small. So what we're gonna do is press A, scale it down, front view, rotate it 90 degrees, and then go to side view, whichever suits you. So what you want to do is get the curve into the shape that you need. So now we're just making it smaller. We don't really need to worry about anything because this is what we're gonna be using. So let's say I want the mid part to curve as well, but there's nothing for us to control there. Right click, subdivide it. Then we can do more changes. Alright, in a case like this, you can press the period to go and zoom back in. So let's adjust a little bit. Just go into X-ray mode so we can see better. So I think this is pretty decent. So it doesn't need to move too much. Alright, so once you reach here, you might be wondering how do I continue? It's just a line over there, it's a curve. So now how? So what you want to do is go over here, right over here. Go right at the bottom, you will see the data properties. Make sure you already selected the curve, yeah? And then scroll down to geometry. Go find geometry. And then the depth there, under bevel, give it some bevel. And then if you want, you can fill the cap. If you want to get it 3D printed, if not, you can just leave it open-ended. That's fine as well. I'm going to just fill it. Alright, so we got our stem. Really simple, right? Alright, so next part, we're going to start making the leaf. Okay, so how do we make the leaf? Very simple. We're going to just Shift A, mesh. Let's get a cube in. So this cube is huge. So we're going to make it smaller. S to scale it down. So I'm going to just scale it down. I'm only going to make one leaf. You can have more than one. Alright, so I'm just going to make it into a nice flat plane. Something like this. Alright, I'm going to make it thinner. Then Control R, create loop. What you want to do is create enough loop. Because for this one, I am thinking of creating it using the good old multi-resolution, which you guys used for the flower from the last class. If you don't remember, go check back the video. Alright? Okay, so now I'm going to just get it into a approximate leaf shape. It's really simple. I'm in X-ray mode, so I'm just tweaking the shape a little bit. It shouldn't be too complicated. It's a simple leaf. It doesn't need too much detail because we'll be adding it in. It's not that obvious anyways, right? If you want, you could create a little bit more. Alright, something like that maybe. Maybe this part you want it to be lower. You can make it smaller overall as well. And then so we got like a base shape. So what we're gonna do now, go back to modifier right behind me if you don't remember. Alright. And then go to add modifier, generate. We're gonna be using the multi-resolution. And then subdivide it. I'm gonna subdivide around 3 times. Around here. So now I am gonna move the leaf into position, alright? Might be a little bit tricky. It doesn't need to be perfect because we are gonna adjust it. Okay, this is too big, so I'm gonna just shrink it down. So this is like a part that you kinda wanna just navigate, slowly maneuver it. Maybe you wanna rotate it a bit. Whatsoever. This is really up to you. And once you're kind of satisfied with the base shape, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into sculpt mode. I'm gonna use elastic deform. Give it a tuck here and there. And something like that. So this is kind of where you can go free flow. Which is really convenient actually. Especially for like soft objects like this, you kind of want it to have like different shapes. You can use your mouse, or if you have a tablet. And I want the top part to be a little bit sharper. You can smooth it out as well. Alright, I'm gonna draw the crease in. Oh, the subdivision's a little bit lacking. I think I'm gonna subdivide one more time. The more time you subdivide, the more it's gonna take out of your computer, as well as when you texture it later. So really simple leaf. Alright, so we got a simple leaf. Alright, you can right click, shade smooth it so it looks smoother. Alright, I'm pretty happy with this. So now it's for the vase. Okay, so for the vase, what I'm gonna do is we could create a plane first. We're gonna be using a interesting method. So I'm gonna rotate it 90 degrees. Let's shrink it down. Alright. Okay, delete half of it, okay? We only need one line. Yes, if you're wondering. But Teacher Yui, what do we use this for? Don't worry, don't worry. Teacher will show you the way. Alright, I'm gonna just create like this. A shape like this. Imagine if you cut the vase in half. So I'm gonna just slowly extrude. We're gonna make like a simple vase. We only need like one line of it. We can create the rest later. Alright, so we got a simple line. I'm gonna just give it a... Oh, not this one. I'm gonna give it a subdivision surface first. Alright, subdivision surface so that it's smooth. And then I'm gonna add one more modifier, which is gonna be screw. Ta-da! So we got the base shape. Simple. Simple, right? Alright, if you want, you could add one more modifier afterwards, but not yet. Okay, first thing first, we're gonna apply the screw. You can apply with Ctrl A or click on this little arrow. Alright, I'm gonna go back into edit mode. I'm gonna press A. I'm gonna press M by distance. It might clear some hanging vertex, but well, in this case it did not. And I'm gonna face this by pressing F. Press I to inset. I'm gonna press I one more time and extrude it upwards just a little bit. I want this part to be straight, so I'm gonna go here and then increase to 1. So that it's gonna be straight. Just want to make sure. Alright, the inside one, I'm gonna give it one more. Alright, so we got the base shape. Alright, now I'm gonna add one more modifier, which is solidify. It's too thick. Maybe like 1 mm. Alright, we're gonna swap it so that it gets the good old subdivision and stuff. Then if you don't like any of it, we can always adjust. Yes. Slowly adjust it until you're happy. You can use the proportional editing. Alright, I think I'm pretty happy with this. Okay, for this one, I want it to be a little bit longer. It's a little bit short. I'm gonna just press extrude and then bring out one more. Alright, this one's a little bit too long. I'm gonna just bring it out. Alright, somewhere around here. Yeah. Alright, I got my beautiful 3D model base. Alright, so we got the base shape done. That's fantastic. Now on to the part, the material part. Alright, let's go into material view so we can see how all of it look like. right now, mine is all separated. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna make all of the petals into one group, just so it's a little bit easier. I'm gonna just join them. Control J to join them. I want the leaf, the petal, and the mid part to be in one texture. So just for the sake of making it easy for you guys to understand, I'm gonna just make everything into one big group. Good thing is they're all using the same modifier, so I can do that. If you have a modifier that you have not applied, like in this case, a little bit hard for me to apply multi-rest because it's gonna be very hard for me to unwrap later. But anyways, let's hop over to UV editing. Just click on it. Right now, we're gonna zoom in. So it looks like this because we're in edit mode. Okay, I'm gonna press U. And then let's use the Smart UV project. So we don't need to unwrap it one by one. I'm gonna make the column margin a little bit bigger. So around 0.05. Okay. Oh, that's too big. Let's make it less. Alright, maybe 0.01. 0.00. 0.001. This is good. Okay. Zoom in a little bit. I just don't want it to be too close to each other because it's gonna have a little bit of problem when we paint it in. Okay, 0.02. What about this? Still a little bit tight. So how I'm tabbing in is Control Spacebar on the viewport that you want to make zoom. Okay. So I got the whole thing unwrapped. Maybe 0.003. Okay, let's go for 0.003 island margin. Okay, so we don't need to worry about it. So we got it unwrapped. Now what we want to do is go right up over here, click on new, and give it a name. Flower. For width and height, normally we go with double, so we can press ×2. ×2. Alright, so the rest we don't need to change. Create a new image for it. Fantastic. Now let's go back into object mode for the flower. What we want to do now is go down to material, create a new material, base color, click on the yellow dot over there. Look for something called image texture. Alright, look for something called image texture. It should look like this. Wait, let me scooch over. So it should look, it should look like this, image texture. Okay, and then click on the drop down, click flower. You don't see any changes because you're not in the material viewport. You'll notice that the whole thing turned black. So next thing we're gonna do, we could go back into layout first. Yes, we can go back into layout first. And then, let me show you guys. You could tap, go into texture pane. There's pro and con for this. For this one, normally I would just go up in the top part, the texture pane. A little bit easier to control. Zoom in if you're zoomed out. Alright, then what I am gonna do is you would see like how the whole thing looks like this. Alright, so you see the bucket over there. Click on the bucket. It's default at white, so I just want to fill in all of the parts first. So let's change this to flower as well. Alright, the whole thing should turn white. If it doesn't, it's because we didn't switch it on. Alright, it didn't switch on material. But you would see, because it's so close, you would notice that there are parts that go over, but it's not really a big issue, so we're not gonna bother with it. Okay? So next thing we're gonna do. Okay, so for the sunflower, good thing is the color separation is really clear. So I'm gonna teach you guys a cheating way. Alright? Well, it's not a cheating way, a smart way of going about it. Okay, so now I'm gonna go into edit mode. If you guys did the 3D model as I had taught you all in the last tutorial, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take out the mid part. The mid part is a different color. Press P, part by separation, and the leaf as well. The leaf is gonna be a different color. So we now got all the parts in separate parts. What you see behind me is basically the texture map of this particular flower in which we had unwrapped. So now, because we already separated them, it's really simple. We can use the bucket tool. Now, depending on which object you are on. So first thing first, we have to select. It can only paint one object at one time. So texture paint. This one's the midpoint. So for the sunflower midpoint, I think it's a little bit brownish. So you can use for brown color. If you want to save the color, you can go over here, open up the color palette, create a new one, and then add the color in. Alright, so we got the mid part. You would see that it paints behind me, but we're not gonna work with that. We're gonna work straight here. Alright, tap back into object, and then now we click on the petal, go into texture paint. Alright, now I'm gonna change the color to yellow. For the sunflower color, I'm gonna just add it in my palette so it's easier for me to find later if I need it. Alright, paint it in, done. Bam! If you want to add in more detail for the lining, we can go back there as well, but I'm gonna just finish up with the leaf first. Texture paint. Now green color, any green that you like. Alright, maybe this one. A little bit neon-y, but it's okay. Oh, you will notice that it accidentally paint on top as well. So you can go to the texture to check. Alright, you can go to the texture to check. So in this case, it's pretty obvious where it came out. So this is one of the spots, and here is another one of the spots. So what we can do with this is click on the text rod, press N, open the color palette back, we get the yellow color. So I'm gonna just paint it back to yellow. Make sure you don't paint on the green parts because those are supposed to be green. Technically, you could always use like a different art software to do this as well, but for this case, we just want to make like a quick, simple 3D sunflower. So I'm gonna just make it really simple. I just want to make sure nothing overlaps with each other. Okay, I think I'm pretty happy with this. Now I want to add in a little bit detail. So I'm gonna go back to the yellow first, and then maybe I have it at a darker color because I want to just draw in some lining. I'm gonna add the color in as well. It's close to green. This one really depends on what color you want. I'm just gonna lightly swipe this part. Oh, I think I'm in the wrong layer. Let's go to the correct layer first. Oop, a little bit too dark. Muddy. Alright. Let's change the color a bit brighter. I'm gonna just delete this color. You can delete by pressing the X. This is alright. So it depends how you want to paint it. Painting can take a really long time if you want to make it look really good. Alright, so something like that. Then now mid part, maybe I want it to have a little bit more color. Go back to texture paint. I want the mid part to be brighter. Change the brush size with F, which is the same key actually, if you guys didn't know. It's the same key as when you're using in sculpt mode. Now maybe I want to have black color. For a cleaner finish look, you could also mark it in Blender and then use like a different 2D software to clean it up over here as well. Alright, I think I'm pretty happy with that. Alright, for the leaf, I'm just gonna use the dark green. Alright, done. Okay, now for this part, I'm gonna add a material for it. I'm gonna just eyedrop the leaf. Now make it slightly darker. You can give the pot a different color or whatever color, or you can unwrap it as well. That's no problem. So I just gave it a basic color. Alright, so now this is where you need to listen up, okay? So what is so important for this texture is that if you see at the image over here, there's a little star. Remember to save it, okay? You must save it. So save it. Save it wherever you need to save it in. Alright, because that's what you will need to get the color back. Remember to save your file as well. Regular saving, that one shouldn't be a problem, right? Alright, so once you're saved, you are done! That's it for today's tutorial. Bye bye! I'll see you guys next time!